Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is part 3. Johnny Ricohmnemonic, Soul Semonic, Money. So now, I'm going out the world to face the challenge that I had put for myself. And the challenge was, I didn't want to believe what I saw. I didn't want to believe what happened. I didn't want to believe that certain things that certain people what they was trying to do to me, and I didn't want to believe that energy, reflected right back at them. Like soon they, somebody was trying something like the unknown, anything like that, and and the energy respond, and I was wondering, what was that? So went out the world, and the first thing I said to myself, I want to start to the bottom. I want to start from the bottom. Because starting from where, picking up from there and then going from the top, I was thinking maybe I would never, understand what is what, or maybe it's the Scorpion moon sign is, basically showing me you got to start from the bottom to figure out something. Whatever it is, or whatever it wants to do to put me in a certain situation to maybe conquer or belittle myself or to be nobody. Most people, they would say, most Scorpion situation is nothing. It's just nothing. Now, don't get me wrong. Some things, it becomes nothing because the little things that I was checking on, there was really nothing. So I learned to let me go up, upgrade, level to this, level up, things like that. So I started doing that. Then I went black again. I don't know how the hell, because I was into the world. I started making money and things like that, and then boom, feelings, motions. I was getting heavy motion of anybody who I was running into. Like I started picking up certain traits that it was automatic, was coming up, and from getting from people vibes and things like that, and I didn't understand why these things was happening to me like that. And so I was reading myself at the same time why people was trying to basically try to have a communication with me, and most of the time my communication was very confusing, but they was still fucking with me. That's the thing, it was something that draw them for something, even though it was like a different, of not understanding me, but they understand me, somehow, I don't know what it was. So I was trying to figure out, what that was. And so as much people I was interacting, things like that, and I started notice how certain people behavior. And then I was way into, zodiac signs and things like that. Not the horoscope, because reading the horoscope was like, when I see it, it's like, that's not everything what they talking about. They just giving, seems like a recycling things. I was seeing over when people was giving horoscope. And I was like, that's not the real thing. So I did, without me researching onto the computer or going to your phone and things, because, you know, at the time, internet was not really that big as now, but it was big, but it was not that big. So I was doing everything by the head, and when I, like, interact with somebody, it's like, it gives me the whole blueprint for that person. But what I would do, even though it gives me that whole blueprint of that person, I would disregard it because it was not fair. Like, because I never want to judge anybody. So I just said, it's not fair if I have a blueprint of somebody and I'm already, you know, knowing everything what they're about without them even doing any kind of movement. So I like to do this thing called benefit of doubt, you know, because I had a friend of mine, and I always tell her, you know, I'm gonna always give people the benefit of doubt. When I first meet a person, I'm gonna always give them benefit of doubt, because the reason is because I'm you know, I never tell her what was the situation is. I guess because I guess, you know, the Scorpion, you know, mind thinking of the moon sign, you know, does not want to give any that they don't want to give that type of information out. So what I would do is just, you know, you always talking about, Johnny, you always getting in trouble, and your trouble is always with females. Like, you love dealing with females, right? And I was like, of course. Hmm? Why not deal with something that gonna complete a person? You know, complete and make common sense. You know, that makes a connection. You know, putting like Legos together. You know, if you put two things of the same thing, it's just a bump head. You know, you just always bumping heads. So I you know, I always had this common sense is like, why, you know, have this connection and things like that. But I know this, that I was jumping too far, and I think I was looking for comfort, like comfort zone. And at the same time, I wanted to let them know I'm not just looking for just the comfort zone. I wanted just to be human. I mean, I am human, but I'm saying without the extra things along with me. I want to be human, you know, because I noticed that everybody I ran into do the similar like the next person, and they don't have nothing close what I have going on. Nothing close. Until I had work at this job, and this job was cool, and I get to meet two scorpions, females, and I was like, and I didn't even know they were scorpions, you know. I didn't know there were scorpions and anything like that. It just was something that draws to them, like more reaction to it. So I had ran into this guy. He was and this is when I went to Georgia, like, because Florida was the career start off. Georgia was the working into my field. I don't know why this thing happened, but anyways. And then on my last videos, I know I say a lot of you know, because the thing is that those if you realize those was blink, that's all that was. And only person I believe, you know, maybe could figure out is my opposite sign. Maybe that is, but who knows. So I ran into one scorpion, you know, and Um, at the time, she was in a relationship. Then after that, sooner or later, the relationship failed. And I was trying to hurry up and trying to get in, get in that spot. But she was so much into her revenge, and I know I couldn't never stop, from her from, not getting her revenge, because, she's in the dark, and I can't share no light into anything, and because there it goes, that thing starting to happen again, and I try to, as much as possible, of laying back, but just my Scorpion mind, it was just more into the attack mode, like wants to have that, and or maybe it wants to show her something, whatever the case was. I wasn't paying really too much attention of it, because I knew deep down inside, I know this was going to be a learning experience for her anyways. Like, what is happening to me, what is me trying to interact with her as much as possible I can. So then, it was this Capricorn guy I had met, and this Capricorn guy, he really was drawing into me, as like being the friends and things like that, and we was like good friends and things like that. But something had like, Scorpion wants to do this attachment because can't get too comfortable. Then he couldn't get too comfortable, and I was trying to give him the warning sign. So, but the warning sign came too harsh. But I was thinking, as being, them being a Capricorn, they really don't have that emotion and things like that. So it came like it was okay at the end of the day. So being with him, I met another Scorpion. Now this Scorpion was, she was double Scorpion, and maybe she was, trying to figure out how I knew her, like knew all of that. Only way how I knew all of that, because Scorpions, once they like something, they do an investigation like a motherfucker. Like it's like this investigation, like what a Scorpion does, it's so bad. It could go from the time, the day of your birth, to know like everything about that person. So I did that. We just doing it. I'm in the mode, and then I have realized that I said, hold on, this motherfucker might be my fucking twin flame. I said, nah. I was like, no, man. Nah, it can't be. That's impossible. That's very impossible. Like, nobody, it's like, there's a lot of people believe in twin flame, and there's a lot of people does not believe in twin flame. But this one here, when I was doing the investigation in it, and she's young, and if you know how the twin flame things work, the one is going to be older and the one is going to be younger. So I just kept, putting research into it without her even knowing. Maybe she knows, because she's supposed to be intuitive. But one thing I noticed, that I could understand where she getting her intuitive from. So I started putting myself into the test. because I was like, he never did this with a scorpion like this before, because I know I ran in with other scorpions, but you know, I don't really pay too much attention. But this particular one, it was like, like it was very intense. And you know what? She did some things that, you know, it was kind of irking. Like, you know, she did her little playing games, like to see what makes me tick. And I knew what she was doing, what she was, you know, finding the buttons to try to, you know, to see what makes me tick. So what I was doing, I was like, okay, you want to find out what makes me tick. One thing I'm gonna do, you're gonna do that, and I do the one that's not gonna, you know, find out what makes you tick. Because if I'm thinking you are my twin flame, there's a certain, you know, procedure supposed to happen, and I was watching every little aspect was happening, and she was hitting every one of them. Ding, 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 ding. And you know what was the killer part? The killer part was that I knew she was gonna go to a place where I was gonna be at, and I was really waiting on it. And when she finally came, and I know, you know, when she came, she saw me was talking to somebody, and I know that's gonna tick her off. But the thing is that I was drawing energy. I was pulling it. I was literally pulling the certain zodiac sign and pulling that energy. So I know that if I'm pulling that, she has to be here, because if I don't pull it, she's not gonna show up. So when I pull it, because there was a certain zodiac sign that I know she has, and I said, I'm gonna pull the fuck out of this one, out of this female, and then make sure that it happens. So when she came, and I said, I told her, I knew it. I knew you was coming here. I knew you was coming here. And she was, and you know, I talked to her like, you know, we met from another place, and I was talking to her, and I broke so many rules in the store, and you know, telling her, come here, hey, whatever, such and such and such, because I didn't give a fuck at the time. Because the reason is because I knew who the fuck I just met. So I was like, after the next day and things like that, she was very silent. I mean, she wasn't really talkative anyways, but she becomes very silent. And I was like, that's no problem. You know, I don't care about the silent, because I rather, I even sent a text to her and told her, like, be silent anyways, because it doesn't even matter what you say, what you do, what you move, how you do it, and things like that, because I know what it was, until, you know, I saw her, the certain problem I saw, and I had to nip that in the bud, and I was like, I'm not to the day I motherfucking live in this motherfucking world, this is not gonna happen. I mean, maybe we never ever gonna have this connection again, and things like that, whatever, you know. And I don't mind, because you know, being under this sign, it's a lot of heartaches goes on, and we got to keep on pushing. So you know, I did what I did. I showed up. You know, she finally saw of a somewhat of emotion, or somewhat of a intensified of my side, just a little bit. She didn't get the whole thing. But I believe she understood it at that time. So moved on. You know, I wouldn't even leave until she's gone. So when she finally left, because I knew, you know, when she leaves, like, out of sight, out of mind, like, she did the Houdini leave, and nobody